1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, in this room here to my educational sessions. And as I wrote and informed you here on Twitter, in our Discord room, and as well, if you are subscribed, hopefully, to our newsletter I'm sending out. So I've informed you that I will take time and guide you through the TTW-TradeFinder and all this fine stuff we are learning and seeing and in the markets. So the educational sessions will go over the next weeks. Every week at least one session. So very welcome to this afternoon, on Friday afternoon, 9:30 Eastern time, as well afternoon in Europe, wherever you are, welcome. And I'm very happy to be with you here for the next hour. What we will do is, the last session was all about order book imbalances. Maybe you remember. If not, please
sell volume spike.
Please go back. Excuse me, I have to switch off what this is. Please go back to the last YouTube video. I have a sound here on the VXX. I just want to cut it off here, not to disturb us here. Yeah, I apologize. Just wanted to close every sound system, not to be disturbed. So again, I'm sorry for that. The last session was all about order book imbalances, and the order book imbalances help us understand where professionals or informed traders are positioned. Today, I will present TTW Liquidity Tracker, his means as his functions. On all my charts, I have added a common depth of market or order book. As you see here on your YouTube screen, let me switch off this one. So you see the order book, the depth of market or order book on my screens, and that means on all my screens. It doesn't matter whether I'm looking at stocks or cryptos or futures. I think what I've learned is that the order book is one of the most important part. Yesterday we have had a nice discussion during the TTW and Friends session, and as well in the live session, about the order book, and the question raised what I think, my guessing about how many traders are really using the order book or watching the order book. My estimation, or my estimate, would be maybe, let me say, 5 out of 100. 5 out of 100. That was simply this discussion, how many I think are looking at the order book. But because the order book is the bookkeeping or ledger for all market transactions, it is extremely important. And I will talk a few minutes about the order book. As you can see on my screen here, on my right side of my chart here, I've added orderly order book. That means the order book is divided into a resting limit side, which is called bid, and on the other side, which is called ask as well. That we see or understand, or when we are speaking about liquidity, these are the numbers in the order book on the ask and on the bid. The order book is standardized. That means it doesn't matter what you have for charting von charting technique or charts or your price ladders or whatever, if you look at the order book, it is standardized. That means we have on the left, on the right side, the resting orders, the resting liquidity, and in between the resting liquidity, we have the market orders, or commonly known as aggressors. That means that these aggressors are simply market buyers and sellers who rush into the market and buy either from ask or sell into bid. So we are saying that selling into bid means the aggressors, the market participants who enter the market, who comes in through the door, they are hitting the bid, selling to the bidders here, selling to the bidders, selling to the bidders. And on the other side, if they want to buy, they are buying from ask, they are buying for the offer, and we also say, or the saying is common to say they are lifting the offer here. And why is this important? Because we as TTW team, Trading to Win team, decided to put this add-on Liquidity Tracker, we call it Liquidity Tracker, into our TW-TradeFinder as an add-on, because it gives us a lot of information along a trading day, which I consider and we consider and should think about is important. For example, the Liquidity Tracker will give you additional information. That means which will help you to see and understand better the speed of the market. Like today, it is an extremely useful day to demonstrate what I'm talking about. The traded market volume and the available liquidity for each price level. And this alone will help you to give you a better understanding of the market condition and whether you should trade or not. That's important. Sometimes you see the market at the beginning of a session rushes up, it goes with a speed up or down, it doesn't matter, and then suddenly it comes to a stop. But the guessing is, oh yeah, they may do they are doing a break here. But on the other side, if you watch the numbers in the market volume and the numbers in the average liquidity, that means if you watch the numbers on bid and if you watch the numbers on ask, which we call liquidity, and if you watch the market volume in between traded, you will get a better feeling, you will get a better understanding of your market. And that's equal for every single market you are trading. That means it doesn't matter. I have here the yes open. Let's have a look at the NQ. What happens at the NQ? Please keep in mind that we currently are trading an average of 1,200 contracts. That's the market volume. And as you can see on my chart here, that's very nice because it's an extremely well example. You see what happens. We have an average liquidity of roughly 50 on each side. That means on each tick. We are counting this average liquidity based on the best bid offer, BBO here. That's the zero line. Let me say that's the zero line for the calculation of liquidity and the market volume. That's the zero line here. The BBO, there where the price actually is. That's the point where we say, okay, I just want to see the first 20 level or first 20 ticks for ES. That means 20 ticks are 5 points in ES, and the market volume is measured by the time. So you can set, I will show you the settings in the TW-TradeFinder. Yes, in the next minutes here for the settings of market volume and average liquidity. And this idea, what the market is trading right now, gives you an extremely well, let me say, feeling, understanding how your traded instrument behaves. And there are differences. There are a lot of differences. Now look, we have an extremely extreme day today because the PPI and CPI numbers have been, yes, not optimistic. They haven't been encouraging. So they are, yes, they are a little bit more negative than they have been expected. But anyway, it is an extremely well day for this, for the purpose of the demonstration of the liquidity tracker here. let's have a now the ES is trading at 1600 and the average liquidity is 30, 40. That's nothing. That's really nothing. You know, I remember times when the liquidity in ES was 400, 500, and now we drop to 40, 50. And by the way, you will see the speed of the market when you enter your trades in your or yes, price ladder, or what you have. You will see how the prices are jumping up and down, and that's simply because we have high volume and we have low liquidity in the book for ES. Let's have a look at the NQ as promised. Just gives me a little bit time now. You see, to switch over here, I have a lot of charts open here in my Bookmap, and you see the traded volume in NQ is totally different. We are talking in NQ about an average market volume of 200, 300, 400, whatever, but the liquidity on the of the levels of bid and ask is totally, yes, I would say thin. This is a really thin instrument. The market trades with extremely thin liquidity. That means per price level on NQ, we have only 4, 5 contracts sitting. That means a tick in NQ is a cent. So please see the have a look at the instrument configuration. Let us do another example. I would like to switch to ZB, which was normally a very high traded instrument, and you see how the liquidity increased. We have to set as well the numbers in our TradeFinder setting according to volume and the actual liquidity. Now you see we are not talking about 4 or 5 per price level, per tick of this instrument. We are talking about 300, 300, 300. That means in average we have for the ZB 200 or 300 contracts per fractal here in ZB. So, and the volume is as well a little bit higher than usual. It's 500. Normally they are trading with thousands of contracts here. So that's the difference between all other instruments. And finally let me see, let's have a look at Apple right now, just to give you an idea what Apple and the stocks are trading. You see the market volume for Apple is extreme high. They are trading 40,000 shares in this time. That's the average. And per level in Apple, that means percent in level, we have 1,000, 1,200, and so on, roughly 1,000 shares sitting on each side. This numbers gives you a very nice and good understanding what the market is about and what the market is doing and how fast it works, how fast it goes, or maybe it stalls. That depends on what you want to see. But anyway, we think that an orderly order book in the on the chart, it doesn't matter whether you have Bookmap, it's available for every single charting system out there. An order book is available. So Yusuf is asking, yes, of course, we are using MBO because we can't analyze icebergs and sweeps without MBO. So that's the point. We need MBO in order to understand and to analyze icebergs and sweeps. You see where I have been. Let me have a look here at NQ. It takes a little bit time to switch over, no, but yeah, there's an iceberg here as well, 115. I'm filtering the big icebergs. I don't want to see, I'm not interested in very small icebergs here. And Rithmic comes with MBO, yes. The dxFeed doesn't have MBOs. It doesn't deliver MBO data, of course. Okay, let's stay with the liquidity tracker. Here I will answer or try to answer every question at the end of this presentation about TTW-TradeFinder and TTW-Liquidity Tracker. Now, my motivation for every one of you is simply add an orderly order book and you will see the advantages. You will start to see the advantages of an order book very soon. We talked about the liquidity, resting liquidity, and the market aggressors. Now let's see how we are measuring that. When you have installed a TradeFinder, we have a so-called liquidity tracker built into the TradeFinder. And Liquidity Tracker gives you the chance to adjust the liquidity or the measuring of the liquidity and volume of every single instrument. It doesn't really matter whether you have stocks, futures, or cryptos. It is, of course, more reliable when we have so-called thick instruments. That means we have enough volume. It becomes harder with it becomes harder with uh, thin volumes. It becomes harder with extreme yes, volume and liquidity thin instruments. That's really hard because you will see how fast they are trading if the volume comes in. But anyway, I think it is an extremely helpful tool to let you understand how the market is currently trading. Let's have a look here at the years again. That's an extremely well example. We have big liquidity at 39, 17, 12, 10. That's a wall. Yeah, it's not a wall. Yes, it's a floor. It's a big floor here between 17.5 and 39.12 here, especially 39.12. And the order book helps you, and the order book helps you to understand. You see that literally with very easy here. Once the my chart settles here, you see it very easy that on the BBO we have 20, 50, 30, 90, 50 and so on. That means these are real contracts. So the market is scared. The market is scared. There are not enough bidders. There are not enough sellers. The market is unsure about what will happen, what will come. Yesterday I think we have had 100 contracts for price level here, and then as well on the ask side you'll see how it dropped today because of the PPI and CPI numbers in the market. That means there are not enough bidders and sellers and buyers on this side to support the market, but the market volume is high. That means we see a market volume of 2000, and as I mentioned, that defines the speed of your price ladder when you are trading. That's absolutely important just to know. It's an information. It is not it is not a signal. I know, we traders, we want to have just a signal, only one signal, and then trade and go and yes, make money. That's not always possible. I say it very cautiously. That's not possible in that way. We need a little bit more information. We have to understand what the market is doing and how the market behaves, and then we can take action on that. So if you have TradeFinder installed, and I would like to encourage every one of you, give TradeFinder a chance with Bookmap. It is a great tool with all the other stuff we have implemented. Imbalance Tracker we talked about last week. Please go back and see the last video about Imbalance Tracker. The Liquidity Tracker I will talk about today, why it is important. Then the next sessions I will talk about icebergs and Market Explorer and all the fine stuff which we added to the TradeFinder. Okay, now since we have set the market volume and liquidity here in this on the liquidity tracker, we get a glimpse, we get a feeling about the instrument and what happens today. And you see, as I mentioned, the liquidity is extreme low. So you have the consequence might be, in this case, you have to rise your stops because the market is so fast. The market is so fast that if you take a 1 point stop or maybe 2 point stop, you will be stopped out in a second. It will happen in really literal in a second. So in this case, when the market is so yeah, it's not supported by bidders, it's not supported by sellers enough, it takes literally less time to process or to transact every single order. You see, it's I just want to mention it's not a part of this educational session because it's an own part. But if you are interested to learn more about the auction, go back to the CME wiki and read about the matching algorithm of the CME. The CME matching algorithm is the algorithm who is matching the incoming orders, the market orders, with the resting liquidity. And I think it's quite easy to understand that the higher the number in the market volume is, and the lower the liquidity is, the faster the market is. So that means that has a direct impact on your trading. That has a direct impact on your risk as well. And therefore, we think that a trader should not only watch out for signals, but a trader should also understand the context of the market. And when I'm saying that, I'm saying all the time that nothing works on its own. When we watch the ES, we should have a look at the SPY. We should have a look at the VIX and so on. So that's an additional important information for every astute trader who wants to see how is the market behaving, why is the market so fast, and what is the impact for my own trading. It's simply the market volume and the liquidity. And again, I know there are not many traders, let me say it that way. Maybe you can prove me wrong, that's okay, but there are not many traders out there who are really have an orderly DOM on their charts to understand these dependencies. And you will see a little bit more subtle signals which are as well extremely helpful in our daily trading. Okay, when you set up when you install the TradeFinder, you will find the add-on which we called TTW Liquidity Tracker. And when you scroll down when you enter your user license, of course, and I will talk about the other points in a few minutes. When you scroll down, you have the current average liquidity, which you can set dome level to dome level. That means these are ticks. If you're not sure we are talking about, please have a look at the instrument definition, and you will see it for every instrument at the CME or wherever, and so-called incremental. The so-called incremental are the ticks. So ES is trading with a quarter. That means 4 quarters means 1 point. And by a dome level in ES, for example, we are talking about the incremental of a quarter, 0.25, and for each instrument the incrementals are totally different. If you're looking at the treasuries, you will have 132. If you look at the euro dollar, you have I think 1,000, 10,000, I'm not sure, and the oil has 1 cent as a tick incremental, and so on. So this is important to understand, that we are not talking about a point here. Even if we are thinking in points, if we are trading ES, we are thinking in ticks here, and ticks are defined at the CME. You will find for every single instrument a description, how it's traded, what is the daily margin, overnight margin, the incrementals, when the instrument trades, and so on, when the expiration is. There are a lot of useful information on the CME for all these instruments, or yes, even for the stocks on the NASDAQ and so on. So every information is there. You have only just to Google it and to find out what you are trading, what the ticks are, what are the instrument definitions. This is the current average liquidity based on 20 ticks. That means in this case, these are 5 points based on the BBO. BBO means this is the current price. We are watching the 5 points down and 5 points up. Even we can say, okay, let's have a 40 ticks. Measuring 40 ticks here, and let's enhance the time here, 30 seconds. You will see then the liquidity tracker, TW-TradeFinder liquidity tracker, will change and will measure then based on the BBO, where the BBO is the current price is, down 10 points and up 10 points, and it will give you back the average liquidity of this instrument, which is from my point of view, and therefore we added it because it's important to understand the instrument you are trading. It must not be ES. It can be NQ or whatever you are trading. Cryptos as well. Cryptos are a little bit more different because they are fragmented far more than, for example, ES, NQ and other instruments. So that's maybe another story. But anyway, you have the same here. Let me have a look at a Bitcoin here. Let me have a look at a Bitcoin. Let me have a look at the Bitcoin here. Yes. It's currently trading in 29,400 here. That's the current BBO, and I've set it to 500 ticks above and below BBO here. So the participation in the market is, I don't know if this is okay or not. I'm not a crypto trader, so I apologize. 19, so because it's really a fragmented market, that can be much, but I don't know, I can't say on that. Just to show you, we have the same principle as well for the cryptos here. So, and I'm always a little bit yes, a little bit surprised when I look at different charts. They have something here on the chart, but not maybe the main information, which is, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, free of charge. So it's at your fingertips, it's your responsibility, and it's your choice to add it to the chart or not. So it costs you nothing. Okay, let's go back to the ES, because this is a really nice and good example for today's, and to explain you how we as Trading to Win team, as TTW team, are looking at a liquidity, and that's simply fantastic. We have added another very smart tool. It opens in a second. It opens in a second window. Let me drag it here over to the YouTube window. It is a so-called live view. It is another representation of this order book. So the idea behind was simply for those of you who are not amazed about the order book and having them on chart, you can use the live view. It's an horizontal view of the order book, if you want to say so. And the amazing point is, let me show you what we can do, or what you can do in this case if you have TradeFinder installed. I'm switching to NQ here in this case, and then I'm switching to the Liquidity Tracker, and as well I can activate, I have to drop it from my second window here as well. I can do that for the SPY. Let me have a SPY here. I have to drag it over because I have several windows open here. Now you have a very nice overview of different markets. That means I have SPY here on the bottom side, and I have NQ, and I have as well the ES. So you can drag them over, leave them on the first window or second window, how many windows you have or your installation is. Then you have a very nice overview about the markets. Now you see the market volume, these are the aggressors. And you see the liquidity, that this is the liquidity on ask and this is the liquidity on bid. The colors are standardized. So, and the order book is standardized. You might have, if you are trading with, if you are using Jigsaw Trader or TT Technologies or whatever you might have, you can define the colors you like. But it doesn't matter, it's always the same principle. It simply works as a ledger for every single transaction. It doesn't matter whether future stocks or cryptos as well. That's the principle of the market. Now you see here very well that the market volume is hitting the bid. Oh no, excuse me, here the market volume are trying to buy from ask, but ask is in this case resisting a little. There's a more resistance on ask. They have to buy more from ask here as well. Here you see market volume is green, so they are buying from ask. They're trying to buy from ask, and the price goes up if there's not enough resistance. You see how the price goes up. It's really hard to watch it for every single second, but it will give you an idea how the market behaves and what the market do. You see they are not interested in hitting a bid. Now it's coming back. It's very fast today. It's not the best example to show you that, but maybe we will have a rush up and you will see the ask market volume, the market buyers will buy everything from ask, and that means the market will go up. They will lift the offer, they will lift the offer. Okay, good. So just to show you the impact here, that means we have a very nice liquidity view, and as well we have a price dynamics plot. We have enabled a price dynamics plot here. The idea behind was to give you the idea how much the market is trading, what is the liquidity, what is the market volume, and we added as well a price dynamics plot here on the bottom, or at the bottom here of this chart. That means this price dynamics plot calculates the buyers and sellers. The thinner the market, it is more hard to trade. The higher the volume, the thinner the market, thinner the liquidity, it's much harder to trade. The higher the liquidity, it is much better to trade, and you can rely on that. Let me show you this example here. The market opened at 30, so it started to, the buyers started to hit the ask or buy from ask or lift the offer here from 35 on. You see this is a green, let me show you that this way. This is a green, this green where my cursor right now is, means they're buyers. Let me switch off the hidden orders. Takes a little bit time, I have a lot of charts open. Now you see the buyers came in and started to buy from ask, started to buy from ask, started to buy. It's all green, green. Green means the buyers came in. Now a little bit more sellers came in, sellers came in, sellers came in, and then this whole, yes, the play, yes, the whole play started from here. The whole game started from here again. You see that how they are trying to support the bid, to support the bid side. The settings for the plot is quite interesting, just to mention it here, because you should know that we have different settings in the price dynamic plot settings. So you have to open the liquidity tracker, go to price dynamics plot, click on edit, and then you will see the ask color, bid color. You can change the base color, you can make it transparent. And what I've like is simply the variable sizes. The variables you can select between small, large, and variable and medium. I like the variable size and the combined size. You can also separate them. Let me see. Ask position is where? Here, and the bid position is here. Oh yeah. So we have much more support on the bid than on the ask side so far. I love this combined settings because it saves space on chart and gives me a very nice and good overview about the market condition here. So you see it as well on Bookmap. The screen is because we have a green bubble here. We have had a lot of green bubbles here up there. They are trying to resist the price coming when the price comes down. So there are sellers coming in. They are trying to resist here as well, but there is no hope because they are trying. They are hitting. They are trying. No, they are trading into the liquidity at 39. What is it? Excuse me, 15. Yes, it's. Here. It takes time a little bit to settle the chart here. Good. Let me have the market is so fast now. Yes, I'm watching through the questions here. Is buy stop signal buy signal, or set buy stop signal is an sell signal? Buy stop here. That was a buy stop. Is a buy signal? Excuse me. Yes, they are filling the liquidity here. They are going through this liquidity here. Okay, that's the volume and that's the liquidity, and how we see that the price dynamics plot extremely well to watch and good. Yes, helpful to watch. as well. Here, price dynamics plot, you see how they are hitting. This big green diamonds here indicates higher volume because it's dynamic, and then for NQ, sellers start to hit a bit, sellers start to hit a bit, a little bit of resistance, sellers start to hit a bit, a little bit of resistance. You see how fast it goes, and then here they're hitting simply the bids and pushing the price down for ES here, for NQ, excuse me. Yeah, so that's the point. We are simply trading into this wall of liquidity here, into this huge wall of liquidity, and that's what you can see now. The interesting point changes a little bit because you see how the market volume hits the bid here. 3,000 trading at the moment, and 90 on the liquidity. You remember we have had 40, around 40, 30, 40 in average a few minutes before. Now it jumped to 100, and that's simply because we have a lot of resting liquidity on bid. 200, 300, 200, 300, and so on. 100 to 300 and so on. You see these numbers. You see that numbers here, and that's really a huge resistance. The bidders are sitting here to resist. We will see if the market is strong enough, if they can break, if the market aggressors can break through this to this liquidity here. And you can measure that as well. If they are strong, 3,000 here on the on the market volume, if they can break through the liquidity here and take every liquidity out of the market, and yes, hit a bit. Maybe they want to be hit even. That's really hard to find an explanation for that. But anyway, you see the market, how the market moves and what the market is doing here. Okay. Price dynamics is another tool we added. Price dynamics is another tool we added to the liquidity. That means the price dynamics shows the volatility of the price. This is the volatility of the price. This is the volatility of the market volume as well. You can use it as well, utilize it and see if it, for example, if you have an divergence here, then that might be a very good signal as well for you to look that because the market is trending down, the professional trader are sitting on liquidity here. As you can see on the imbalance tracker is below zero, imbalance tracker is below zero, and we have to look for for sells. Or if the market pulls back, we should look for sells as well. Okay, the next point we have here in the liquidity tracker, ladies and gentlemen, is the absolute liquidity change alerts and relative liquidity change alerts. I'm just guessing if we can display here something because we have a wall of liquidity here, and that will make it really hard to explain this today. Let me have a look at the NQ. Or maybe I should have a look at a CL. Let's have a look at this oil. That might be a little bit better to demonstrate the absolute and relative changes in oil. Not sure if that happens, but if that helps. But anyway, let's have a look here at the oil and the liquidity tracker, and let's have a number of 100 here. Let's see if that helps to find something, because we are sure that subtle liquidity changes in the market will help you to spot these changes. And if you spot these changes, you will get immediately an idea of whether the market supports or resists a price. Let me try to find something. I'm not sure if it's possible here on oil, just to make an maybe 50 is too much. 100 is too much, excuse me. because I can't do that at the moment on ES. Give the Bookmap a second to recalculate. Absolute liquidity changes marks liquidity changes around the price, where the price is going to, yeah, you see that here. Let me mark it at as a square. It's a little bit too exaggerated, but I just want to show you the idea behind. Absolute liquidity changes happens when suddenly out of nowhere a liquidity comes up or is added to the order book. Look here what happens here. That's an excellent example. That's what we call absolute liquidity changes. At 120 and 85, I suppose, that's here, this level. Suddenly, when you are trading, a green square comes up with a number of 53 here in this case. And yet now watch at a bit. Watch at a bit what happens here, or what happened here. 54 contracts has been added here at that time, or at that time here, especially at 49 minutes and 15 seconds. At that time, 54 contracts have been added. If you drag it to the right side, you will see immediately there's nothing. There are 14. The number is 14 here on the screen, and when I drag it to the left side, very cautiously, you see the 53. The 53 here is coming up because there are suddenly added 50 contracts at 85 here at that point. As well, that is the same situation for the other levels on the ask, for example. You see the numbers, whether they are adding or they are subtracting the numbers from the order book. And the idea behind is simply, if you are trading, you are a trader, you are trading, you are long, maybe you are short, whatever, and you see this, the price comes up. You see a volume spike. That means the price comes trades into liquidity here. They are adding liquidity 50, 54, 50 again here. For the, I'm talking, yes, I'm in oil at the moment, and that means that they are stacking, or they're putting liquidity on a certain level, which is in this case because you have defined 50 contracts per price level. And we are observing, or TradeFinder is observing, or Liquidity Tracker of TradeFinder is observing the first 10 levels. As well, if you are talking about the first 10 levels, that means the first 10 levels about around the BBO, around the current price. That gives you an idea that someone is maybe supporting that, because on some charts and sometimes it's extremely hard to understand where the liquidity is added or not. You know, we are focusing on our trading, we are focusing on execution, we are focusing on so many things. It's sometimes really hard to understand and to watch all these subtle signals on the chart, especially concerning, yes, regarding the liquidity, for example, that it's not possible to have everything in mind and to have everything under control if we have something under control. And you see here as well, that's a very nice point here, the price dynamics plot in CL started to get green and very hard. You see the line, or this channel here expands here, it expands, the color becomes a little bit more darker, then a little bit more lighter, a little bit of reddish comes in, then suddenly we see a spike in oil here at the 120.21. Here that was the spike. We see a volume spike here coming up right at the time. We see liquidity here as a resistance, and then it turns suddenly into red here. That's the price dynamics plot. That's based on the market volume or aggressor volume here. This is a very straightforward visual help to understand where the market is going. So if you are not happy with an order book because it flickers up and down and goes very fast up and down and it's really hard to follow, then I think we want to see, or we want to have some easy to visualize signs on the chart which help us to understand what the market, or most of the time to understand what the market is doing. So you see green up, we see a hard red point here, that means sellings. We see an absolute liquidity coming up at 285, I think it is here, and that means they are trying to support this level as well. Quite fantastic to see that. Let me show you as the last part, and I will come back to your questions here. Give me a few minutes more to explain the relative liquidity. That means we have, let me set it to 50, I'm not sure what happens. And the relative liquidity, I want to, yes, to see the relative liquidity between 10 cents of oil in this case and 100 cents. Let me see what happens when I'm switching on I have to recalculate because I changed the numbers right now. What happens with the relative liquidity? It takes a minute, it takes a moment. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're using that, I encourage you to have the live view on as well. For oil, it is as well helpful when you're trading it. Oh, great, yes, fantastic. Look here. That's really quite interesting. You see the prices here around 120, 60, 70 and 120, 21 and so on. And what I mentioned, the absolute liquidity changes in the book. So we are talking about the order book, I'm talking about the bid side, I'm talking about the ask side. Changes now and then here at that price, it gives resistance here, it gives support here. That's something you will get on chart because it's really hard. It's yeah. I think it's our all experience. It's really hard to be focused on every single detail on the chart. It's not so easy, and therefore we have all these helpers who try to guide. Oh, not try. Who guides you? Who guides us through the trading day? We have the price dynamic plot, which is greenish, 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 greenish. You see how fast this band expands. It becomes dark green, and that means the price goes up. And on the other side, we have the relative liquidity here. Relative liquidity is measured, again, the relative liquidity in the book is measured by the volume, so 50 contracts per price level. But I'm not watching the very close price levels around the BBO. That's not of my interest. I want to see what happens at the distant prices. In this case, 10 cents above the BBO up to 100 cents above and below the BBO. So the BBO is the current price, and I want to see what happens at the distant time, the distant price here. And you see do quite well. I'm surprised a little bit more here as well. That's a very excellent example that it shows me that the price is simply these informed traders. These are not retail traders. These are algos, informed traders, professionals who are a company or who are joining the price at those levels. Let me see if this is equal 120.50, 120.50 here. Maybe, well, yes, $1. Let's say $1 here, approximately $1. That means 50 cents from the BBO here up and 50 cents down to the BBO. We see a liquidity up, and it plus means the liquidity comes in, and minus means it is cancelled. Plus means liquidity comes in, minus means it is cancelled. Let's have a look here at this example just to visualize it to you. Let me see if I can catch it right at the point here. Yeah, That's a good example here. You see at, I suppose it's 95 here, 129.95 here again, plus 50, a red, and excuse me, a green dot because the settings of the relative liquidity is set here. You can change the number, you can change the colors, of course. Bit liquidity added, bit liquidity removed. Let's change the number here, the purple one. It doesn't matter, just to show you, to make it a little bit more visual. 50 contracts came up here. Now have a look to the right side where my cursor is, and you will see 54 contracts sitting at 95 in this case. Yeah, understandable? Quite easy. If you drag it a little bit to the left side, you see 5 contracts sitting at that point of time, and then drag it to the right side. Let's see if it takes a little bit time here. It makes 54 contracts, and then drag it further to the left side. It's cancelled. So they're back to 4 contracts here again. These are algos running around around the BBO all the time. Very nice visualization here on the oil, just to demonstrate how really helpful this tool is, the TTW Liquidity Tracker, how helpful this signatures are on the chart, relative as well the absolute, because it gives you another worthful and meaningful information how the market how the price might react at this levels. That's quite remarkable. Again, I'm going back to the settings. You have the relative liquidity change alerts. We call them relative liquidity change alerts. You see the dots here, plus and minus. Plus means it was added, minus means it was cancelled. As well here you can change the colors as well, of course, if you want, the symbols as well, just for better visualization of algos in a chart. That's extremely helpful. You have to decide whether it helps you or not, but it gives you an additional information besides all the other information TradeFinder has included: icebergs, volume spikes, volume stops, and so on. This is the relative liquidity, ladies and gentlemen, and the absolute liquidity change alerts as well. Here we want to see around the price, maybe 10 cents or 10 points or 5 points, whatever you're trading, very close to the price, what is happening, is someone coming up and supporting the price or not. Now we can sum up a little bit here the liquidity tracker and the usage of the liquidity tracker. I will answer your questions very, very soon, so be patient, a few minutes. The liquidity tracker uses the depth of market or order book. The liquidity tracker uses the depth of market or order book. We are aware that there are not many traders out there who are utilizing the order book in this manner here. So I would encourage everyone of you, if you are working with Bookmap, use it. It's there on your chart. It costs you nothing. Just customize it that way, and you will get more information maybe about of your instrument than before. The liquidity tracker shows you at every time of the day, at every time of the trading day, the average volume, market volume, or so-called aggressive volume, and the average liquidity. Average liquidity means the liquidity on resting liquidity on bid, on an ask. If you want to know more or read more, please go to CME Wiki and go read the part about the matching algorithm, and that will make that will deepen a little bit your knowledge about how the market works. That's quite important. We have added as well the price dynamics plot. price dynamics plot gives you most of the time valuable information whether the market is in break or trades down here. It's only an small, how to say, pullback here, reversal, and when the buyers kick in here. Look here, the buyers kicks in here at that moment when you see this band expanding, and that's real time. That's nothing lagging. That's really nothing lagging. It's in real time. This band is expanding and means the buyers starts to kick in and find more buyers who are willing to buy everything from ask here. And other point is which is really helpful if you're watching SPY, NQ, QQQ, whatever. We have added a live view. The live view means you can put this horizontal order book on every window of your chart or screens, so that you have maybe a better overview, very fast and good overview when the market starts to hit a direction. Either they are buying. You now see the market volume is hitting the bid here. Now it was very, very fast. Now it's vice versa. The buyers are hitting the ask. Let me see what happens here. Yeah, this absolute volume is a little bit too tight, but anyway, I just wanted to show you how this can be seen as a good support here in this case. And you see what the price is doing here. If you read only the live view, you see the bid, the bidders, the mean aggressors market is hitting the bid, market aggressors are hitting the bid, market aggressors are hitting the bid here. They are hitting the bid here, they are hitting the bid, they are hitting the bid. That's why this red bar is so long, and there are no buyers at the moment. There are no buyers at the moment. You see that? There are no buyers, or not in, let me say, not enough buyers. I'm a little bit exaggerating that, but just for demonstration purposes here, to show you what it's in for you when you are looking a little bit different on the liquidity and market volume here. You see how that changes very fast. Now buyers stepped in very, very fast and buying everything from ask here. So this is market volume is this column, and the liquidity are the resting liquidity on bid on ask. Maybe something happened, I don't know, but anyway, you see how they are very, they are in rage here. Buyers are trying to buy everything from ask, and therefore the price is going up. Let's go and see what is the ES doing here. Yeah, they are digging through this wall of fame. They're digging through this wall of fame. Yeah, selling is extremely hard. You see it on the imbalance. Imbalance is down, imbalance is down. You see, let me add as well. I think I switched off the hidden orders here. Takes time to recalculate again. But they are really hitting the bid. They are trying to resist, but there's no chance so far. You see the imbalance is on the downside. Okay, that wraps up. I would like to wrap up here on the imbalance tracker of how we see the market, how we look at the volume, and how we look at the liquidity, and how we implemented that in the TW-TradeFinder. I would like to wrap it up here at that point, saying that the TTW Liquidity Tracker will help you and will help every trader to understand and visualize the speed of the market and at which speed the market is acting for any time. It will help you to visualize where support is, where resistance is, where absolute changes in the book are, and where relative changes in the book are. So you can even visualize algos, as I have shown that here on the oil, on the CL contract here, CLN2 here. That's really remarkable to see the support, to see the algos running and pushing the price up within certain distance. I think that was in $1. It helps you to understand, based on the price dynamic plot, if one side is leading or the other side is leading. If the buyers, that mean market volume, but the aggressors are in lead, in charge, or if they are selling into bid, if they are buying from ask or they are selling into bid. And based on the liquidity and that what we offer with the TW-TradeFinder, I think every trader who is willing to to learn that, to understand it, will develop a better understanding of actual market conditions for every instrument. I'm not talking here about CL or ES, it is valid for stocks as well and cryptos as well. A thorough understanding of an order book and its mechanic will help you to see how the price acts at extremes. You will build higher confidence in yourself and your trading method. And finally, TTW Liquidity Tracker allows you to guide you based on actual market volume and liquidity through the trading day. And by that I'm saying for each instrument it doesn't matter whether stocks, futures or cryptos. So ladies and gentlemen, that was my introduction to the volume and liquidity, and as my final thought is simply I will encourage you to have a closer look into an order book and understand the relative liquidity, absolute liquidity, and it will guide you more than not through a trading day and will help you to understand where the market is trending, because we as trader just want to know where is the price going to and what will we do, how to enter the market and how to exit the market. But on the other side, it's not possible to generate simply one signal for this really good trading. There's no holy grail, I must say. So maybe you have other information, but I must say there's no holy grail. We have to learn, we have to understand, we have to adapt, and then we can make it as traders. And that's my motivation for you to have a look at a TW-TradeFinder. So that's the overview of the liquidity tracker of TW-TradeFinder, and I'm happy to guide you through the next educational sessions, as they will be icebergs and how we have implemented icebergs, about volume stops, about sweeps, about volume spikes and absorptions. These are all parts of TW-TradeFinder, which gives you a comprehensive and in-depth market view for consistent trading. So please visit our webpage at ttwtrader.com. All information is there. Please have a look at this page here and get more information about that, what we are doing, that what we offer, what we share with you. So, and be a part of our Discord room as well. First of all, thank you for watching. Thank you for being with me for this 1 hour here. And let me go to the questions here. Maybe I can answer some before I'm closing the session. There have been several questions. Okay, I see there are some comments today. Very good. Okay, great. So I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you for watching and being with me. Join us on Discord as well. We are sharing our screen. I'm sharing institutional levels. We are commenting. There's a great community there. That would be great to see you there as well. So thank you for your attention, for your attention today, and for your presence here on YouTube. I will send out the newsletter and tell you when the next education session, live sessions at TTW and Friends sessions are. Thank you for that, and all information are listed below the video here, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.